Alright, we're going to be picking it up where we left off with Scorch. I'm going to be showing you guys a complete game today. And I've cut out the beginning, but let's just say I threw some grenades, shot some guys, and now I'm first to drop. And this is when the fun starts. With Scorch or Ronin, I find you can have some of the best first to drops in the game, especially when it comes to levels like this that are small. This is the best level for Ronin and Scorch. First to drop is the best thing ever. You just feel so tough. I'm a mobile Gundam right now. Remember when they would have those cheap suits with the artillery on the shoulder? You are ill-prepared for this. And it turns out the biggest threat is myself. Look how much damage that did. I didn't think I was even in it that long. Some people were talking about tempered plating. It's just that it's very hard to sacrifice anything in this build. I think you need the extra dash or the extra dash speed. And after that, the shield. If not, you're taking the canister. Like, there's just no room for thermal plating in these builds. If I pay attention more, sure. Like, I'm not a Scorch main. I use most. If I was going to say I'm a main, I am an Ion main. But I spread my gameplay out quite a bit these days. Not even just within the game, also in Call of Duty. So it takes a little getting used to some of these things. And I think that it's one of those things that you'd be better off learning to not walk in your fire than to take a perk. In Call of Duty, this is the same as not taking a red dot sight and just sticking with the stock, because I think it's something that you should try to learn. And some guns are more comfortable than others, so if you can spare the point, it's always worth doing. There's not much that Scorch can do to me right now. I have the defender's advantage. I could drop smoke right now. The traps are easier for me to lay since he's on the offense, but there's a Titan beside me that I was more worried about, so I had to eject. Against that Scorch, though, I was in a really good position. You'd be surprised how fast your health advantage can go down against a Scorch on Scorch fight when you're trying to be aggressive against them. I guess that actually applies to a lot of Titans if you're trying to be aggressive against Scorch. Your biggest windows are just long distance pokes. If not, it's paying attention to when a Scorch uses his canisters. If you see me use 2 canisters, like, you might as well just laugh as you just dance around my Titan. Because there's very little I can do about that. Unless you do something so like come right up to me and I get to use my thermal shield. I just don't have the available AoE to control the pace of the fight and where I want them to be. Because again, I either want them in the traps or I want to melt them with the shield. It's one or the other. Flame Shield is your primary attack. When you're thinking Scorch, think Flame Shield. Take the perk. If you think you can change my mind about the plating, because I don't think, why can't you just not be in your fire? Trust me when I say that other players are not concerned at all whether you're in your fire or not. They're just concerned about them. They're not going to be like, oh, I got him to step in his own fire, because they're taking way more damage. I'm not sure what the scenario is between Ronin using a sword block in it. If you take more damage than a Ronin with sword block, that's BS. Find this level extremely hard for pilots when the steamroll comes. The only option you really have in this map, at least as far as I know, is to grab a Thunderbolt and pretty much just spam it down the lane before you even see if there's a Titan, because usually there is, and you can start doing damage because they just fly at you in this level, especially Ronin and things like that. Like, as soon as they round the corner from mid, using their 2 dashes, like, they're going to be right in your face. If they need to use their phase as well, okay, but they come up to you so quick that you're going to have a hell of a time running away from them as a pilot. It also has to do with the momentum that you carry. Some people are really good at just continuously shooting and moving, and having that momentum already built is a big factor. Myself, I'm kind of in the middle. I sometimes stop after killing, sometimes I keep going. I kind of go in spurts, I find. I find that I'll do some flying around, moving like a lot of bunny hops, a lot of skiing, and then I stop for a bit. And that's just the kind of player that I am. Some people are continuously on the move, which makes them harder to be caught in those positions because they already have momentum going for them. And it just makes them really quick to get around the map, which means as soon as they see a Titan, you know, they're already moving. Luckily not in the wrong direction, but it is going to help them. Too far. Can we find him? Oh, I don't have grapple right now. Oh, that would have been funny if it worked, because that auto dropped when I grabbed that Titan. I didn't want to let go, but I actually have no choice. That is an auto. I'm not a big fan of auto things. Automatic things just take away options from the player. I know that sometimes you need an automatic function because then it adds predictability to the game, so then you know how you're going to counter things. So I understand that. That's why certain supers have animations and things like that in order to give a trigger to the opposing player so they can do a counter. I understand things like that. All I'm saying is that no, I guess that's just part of the game. That's part of the balance. It's funny. Sometimes you just need to talk it out, and then you'll find you're not right. See, I changed my own mind. But you're not gonna change my mind about that tempered plating. Absolutely not. Is there still a guy in that corner? He's got to be dead now. Game's almost over. I've broken 30. I don't think I'm gonna need my Titan anymore. Instead, I'm gonna fly at them with my pilot and see how that goes. This is my idea of bunny hopping. It's mainly just grappling. Oh, wow. I'm alive. And I'm gonna snake a kill. And here's the Titan. Ah. Maybe I should have pressed a manual button. Have you guys had that scenario where you have a friendly Titan on top of a battery and they're not moving? It's so hard to grab it without just going on top of them. I wish I knew that there was speed associated with how you end up getting onto enemy Titans. I always thought there was, but I don't know if that's true or not. I would need the devs to confirm if there is any kind of factors like that, or maybe it's just lag, so it looks like they end up missing you because you're moving faster. And this is a huge thing in game. Most aggressive player typically gets an advantage because of just the way networking. It thinks that you're somewhere that you're slightly not because you're moving first. So it just makes it so your character looks like he's moving a little faster because you're technically always moving versus somebody who's standing still. In Battlefield, that gave me a huge advantage. If I was moving versus them, I always saw them first, technically, even though we're looking at each other at the same time, just because of the way that the input works into the game. It's in the network and all that stuff like that. And that's just standard, like, game lag, game input lag, or whatever you want to call it. Like, there's a difference between lagging and just everyday lag, because there is that. So usually the faster player gets the advantage in that sense. It's also true for Call of Duty. If you're moving faster, the game just gives you a little extra, how can I say it? You just see them first. That's all it is. It's a, you see their character first in the position. That's the keyword. You see their character first in the position they are versus them seeing you at maybe even at the same time, but in the wrong positioning, or it's almost like they have a little bit of a little skip to their jump, if you know what I mean. It seems like they're moving just slightly faster than you. And I find that that's just the everyday lag, and usually the more aggressive player will win that. And even if you're not aggressive, it's kind of that Twitch thing where you see people go back and forth, because if somebody happens to come out, the game's going to have to register if they're still going left or right. Whenever I see these kids playing out of California with a ping of 20 though, I'm pretty jelly. Because I'm like, it must feel, it's those small differences, I swear they make a difference. Usually when I see streamers and I see their ping, I'm like, really? Man, I wish I was there. Anyways, that's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. On paper, cut to you, and I'll see you guys next time.